والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Welcome to Tafseer of Surah Al-Qadr. This is an important and very pertinent topic relevant to our current time, since we are in the last 10 days of Ramadan. So I gave a talk in Shell and then I got a positive response. So I said, okay, why not duplicate that also in Bukit Damansara, and then we did it. Now we're doing it here. So we'll just get straight into it. Everyone has their smartphones out or a Quran? Okay? Because the only way to do tafsir is if you guys have a Quran in front of you. So if we look at Surah Al-Qadr, which is chapter 97. Chapter 97. And the way the Quran works is that the tafsir of the Quran, the way it works is one surah will mention a few things, and it will not necessarily answer or give you the solution to that particular topic that it's addressing. So it will address it either in a surah right after it, or it will address it somewhere else in the Quran. And we see this throughout the Quran. For example, if you guys turn to chapter 16. Farid, what's young man's name? Munir. Can you go give me Quran from there? Chapter 16, 1-6. Chapter 16, verse 111. 111. Oh wait, it's not 111. Sorry, 17. I meant to say 17. If you turn to chapter 17, verse 111, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the surah right before Surah Al-Kahf, and it's the last ayah, 111. If you turn to it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَقُلْ, and say, الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ الَّذِي, and say, Alhamdulillah. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, and say, Alhamdulillah. Then if you go to chapter 18, which is Surah Al-Kahf, how does Surah Al-Kahf start? Alhamdulillah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding us to say Alhamdulillah, one verse right before Surah Al-Kahf in chapter 17, verse 111. He's saying, and say Alhamdulillah. And then in Surah Al-Kahf, Allah, He's saying, and He starts, Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitaba wa lam yaj'al lahu 'iwaja. Okay? Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Fil, Alam tara kayfa fa'ala. He is talking to the Quraysh about all of the good and that He has done to them. And then immediately after it, لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ, He's talking to them about how the Quraysh, in Surah Al-Fil, Allah, He's talking about how Allah saved the people of Quraysh from the people of the elephants that came to destroy the Kaaba. And then after it, Allah, He's mentioning the favors that He is doing upon the Quraysh by allowing them to go to the north during the summer and south during the winter to do trade and business. Same thing with Surah Al-Qadr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Alaq, the surah right before it, اقرأ بسم ربك الذي خلق. Allah, He begins Surah Al-Alaq by explaining how revelation began. How revelation began. And then in Surah Al-Qadr, He addresses when revelation began. And He says that it began in the night of Al-Qadr. He says, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ. Verily, we revealed it, i.e. the Quran, in the night of Al-Qadr. Surah Al-Alaq started with, He taught man what he knew not. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, He taught man what he knew not. And in Surah Al-Qadr, He's saying, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ, and what will make you know what the night of Qadr is. So in Surah Al-Qadr, He's saying, man don't know anything. And in Al-Qadr, He's saying that he doesn't even know when Laylatul Qadr is, except what we have taught him, which is through revelation. So in Surah Al-Alaq, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان ما لم يعلم. He has created man and he knew nothing. He doesn't know anything. The only reason he came to know anything is because we taught him. So in Surah Al-Qadr, Allah is saying, you don't even know when Laylatul Qadr was. The only reason you came to find out what is Laylatul Qadr is because we told you that it's in the month of Ramadan, i.e. in the last 10 days of, or the last 10 nights of Ramadan. So we only found out because of the revelation that Allah gave to the Prophet ﷺ. And initially the Prophet, he was given ﷺ, he was given the exact date of Laylatul Qadr, but that was taken out from him. Surah Al-Alaq, the last ayah says what? كَلَّا لَا تُطِعْهُ وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ. Allah is saying, and they do not obey him, i.e. Abu Jahl, وَاسْجُدْ وَاقْتَرِبْ, and make sajda and get close to Allah. Make sajda and get close to Allah. Surah Al-Qadr tells us when is the best time for us to make sajda, i.e. to be making salah. When is the best time? In Laylatul Qadr, in the night of Al-Qadr. By the way, the night of Al-Qadr is wrongly translated as the night of power. It is not the night of power. It is the night of decree. And I will mention what are the different definitions of Al-Qadr. So it's not the night of power, because power in Arabic language, it means quwwa. Okay? Quwwa. So it's not Laylatul Quwwa, but it's Laylatul Qadr, which is the night of decree, and we'll talk about why it's called the night of decree. So Surah Al-Qadr says the best time to get close to Allah and make sajda and pray in the whole year is the night of Al-Qadr. Surah Al-Alaq mentions to read. It says Iqra. It begins with read. And then Surah Al-Qadr says, what is the best thing to read? It's the book of Allah. So if you want to read, there is nothing better for you to read than to pick up the book of Allah and read it, especially in the month of Ramadan. In the month of Ramadan. So this book of Allah, which is the Quran, was revealed in the night of Al-Qadr. Allah, I want you guys to pay attention to the board. I've written down four different, four words. Actually, there's one word, but in four different forms. Okay, four different forms. Now, nazala, that is the root word, and 95% of the Arabic language is, they all have a three-letter root word, 98%. Three-letter root word. So, if I want to say I want to live or reside somewhere, I will say sakana, for example. If I want to eat, I will say akala. But nazala means to bring down, to send down, to reveal. Now there's different forms that follows a specific pattern, and all of the Arabic words, they follow a specific pattern. And they give a somewhat similar meaning to its original root word, but slightly in a different way. So for example, nazala, we mentioned it means to bring down or to send down or to come down or to reveal. Now when it says anzala, it tells you a different type of coming down or revelation. It means to come down at one time. So if I was to take, for example, a bucket of water and I was to pour it, that would be called anzala. It means to come down or to pour down in one time, in one shot. Okay? And we see this inna anzala. Okay? If you guys turn to chapter 25 verse 1. Chapter 25 verse 1. Okay? Chapter 25 verse 1. What does Allah say? تبارك الذي نزل. So that's number 3. نزل. The Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, and glorified be to him, i.e. Allah, who revealed. What's the translation? Who sent down. Who sent down, who revealed. Al-Furqan, which is one of the names of the Quran. The criterion. It distinguishes between what is good and evil, what is the truth and falsehood. So Allah is saying, Nazzala. So in Surah Al-Qadr, he says, Anzala. In this verse, chapter 25, verse 1, he says, Nazzala. What's the difference between the two? And we know the Quran was not revealed in one time. So it could not have been Anzala, meaning one time, revealed in one shot. So what it means is that Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, we have revealed it, i.e. the Quran, in the night of Qadr. It means that it came down from Lawh al-Mahfuz, from the sacred tablet which is with Allah, to the heavens in the night of Qadr in one shot. In one shot. Then Allah, he says in chapter 25 verse 1, تَبَارَكَ الَّذِي نَزَّلَ الْفُرْقَانَ. Praise or glory be to him who sent down the Quran, i.e. nazzala means to send down something over a period or over a period extending over a span of period, over a long period of time. And we know that the Quran was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ over 23 years. And that's why Allah, he used the word nazzala, because it means to come down little by little and gradually. It means to come down gradually and not just one time. So Allah, he says, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. We have revealed the Quran in one time, i.e. it came from Lawh al-Mahfuz to the heavens in one shot. When? In the night of Qadr. It came in the night of Qadr. So, and then we'll talk about number 4, Tanazzala, because that's also mentioned in the verse, in the surah. So when is Laylatul Qadr? This is the $1 million question. When is Laylatul Qadr? Because everyone is trying to find out when is Laylatul Qadr. And we all try to, there's no signs of Laylatul Qadr beforehand, but there's signs that it was Laylatul Qadr afterwards. So, in a way, you have to kind of spend the night in order for you to feel good about yourself, that Alhamdulillah, I spent it in Laylatul Qadr. It just doesn't work. Oh, tonight is Laylatul Qadr. Or, no, the signs are not there, so I'm not going to pray tonight. That's not how it works. So the Prophet ﷺ says, seek it in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. And then he, in another hadith, it was more specific. He said, seek it in the odd 10 nights of in the last 10 nights, but in the odd nights of them. in the month of Ramadan. Then there's a couple more hadith which is a bit more specific, and he said the 23rd, the 25th, and the 27th. He narrowed it down to 3, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Some of the scholars, they said, they gave, according to their own ijtihad, their own juristic reasoning, they said, like Ibn Abbas, who was a great scholar from amongst the Sahaba and a person who used to give tafsir, and he was known for his tafsir. He said it's on the 23rd, but that was based on his ijtihad. And then later on, he changed his opinion to say that it was on the 27th. But it's interesting how he came to say that it was the 27th. If we look at Laylatul Qadr, how many letters are in Laylatul Qadr? Can you guys count? Huh? Lam, Ya, Lam, Ta marbuta, Alif, Lam, Qaf, Dal, Ra. How many? 9. And how many times is Laylatul Qadr mentioned in that surah? 3 times. So 9 times 3. So he's saying 9 times 3 equals 27. So therefore Laylatul Qadr falls on the 27th. Okay? And then how many words in Surah Al-Qadr? How many words? Can you guys count? Oh, I've given it to you. Usually I give a lecture from a piece of paper and not from a PowerPoint, so you guys won't be cheating. 30 words. The 27th word, it says hiya. If you look at it, hiya. Hiya means it. It's a pronoun. In the Arabic language, hiya means it, referring to a female. Okay, or not necessarily a human female, but a feminine pronoun. It's a feminine pronoun. And Layla, because it has the ta marbuta, is a feminine word. It's a feminine noun. So, here, it, i.e., a feminine it, حتى مطلع الفجر is until when the dawn breaks, i.e., Laylatul Qadr is until when the dawn breaks, when Fajr comes. So he's saying the 27th word is referring to Laylatul Qadr, therefore Laylatul Qadr is on the 27th. This is how some of the scholars came up with. But here's what I found to be very interesting is the explanation given by one of the scholars. His name is Ibn Taymiyyah. He says, with regards to the last 10 nights and then the hadith where it says it's in the odd 10 nights. Now in Malaysia probably wouldn't fall into this type of explanation because it goes off by calculation. And back in the days, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and up until recently, except I think in the late 80s, early 90s, when calculation was not in use for determining the start and end of Ramadan, they used to go by moon sighting, physical moon sighting, whether it was with the naked eye or with a telescope. So they didn't really know when Ramadan was, when Ramadan ended, whether it ended with 29 nights or 30 nights. Okay. Now, if Ramadan is 30 nights, then when does the last 10 days start? 21, right? Now, 21, which would then say 21 is the first odd night, and 23rd, and so on. Now, if it's 29 days, when would the last 10 nights start? On the 20th. So then, when would the odd night start? 20th, correct? It will be 20th. 20th, 22nd, 24th, 26th, 28th. Which means what? If you guys are trying to make your schedule where it says, okay, you put like a red dot on your calendar saying, this is Laylatul Qadr, make sure you wake up, well, you're in for a surprise. The night of Laylatul Qadr can fall in any of the last 10 nights. beginning with the 20th. Because we simply don't know if Ramadan is 29 days or 30 days. And because we don't know that, then, except like I mentioned in the case of Malaysia, where they already predetermine it, they calculate it, but in the normal circumstance, we don't know. So we go off of by the moon sighting. So in that case, a person